one of the shocking things. So everything was cool, everything was sweet. It's challenging moving away from home, but it's also rewarding. With freedom comes responsibility. And I say do it when you're ready. Always ask for help, especially before it's too late. Don't be hard on yourself. Oh my God. Oh my God. You'll learn to also be brave and to take risks. She taking care of the bills. She making sure we eat. She making sure appointments are booked. She making sure she keeps a job. She making sure she has benefits so that we can have, health insurance, all of this stuff. Like, do not rush to move away from home, okay? Take your time so that you never, ever gotta move back at home, okay? Period. Bye. Hey friends, welcome back to our channel where I inspire your desire to be great, to be great, to be great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. I really hope you enjoy this amazing content, this amazing mukbang. To my amazing supporters, welcome back. I know y'all love y'all some mukbangs. I wish I could do more, y'all, but I'm always concerned about my weight and my eating and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe in the near future y'all will get more mukbangs. But before we get into it, today is Saturday, February 18th. It's currently 8:33 p.m. y'all. I made some delicious, y'all, pasta. It's kind of like chicken alfredo. I don't remember the exact name of the sauce that I used, but just know it came out amazing. And I wanted to do a mukbang with this. So that's what we're doing. And while we're doing this mukbang, y'all, I'm about to share with y'all like what it's like moving away from home. I got notes here just so I don't miss nothing, y'all, because y'all know I gotta give y'all all the tea, baby, okay? Because we cannot miss anything, okay? We can't miss nothing. So as y'all know, well, I don't know if y'all know, but a backstory, I'm gonna need my glasses because can't see without them. So anyways, moving away from home, I'm gonna share with y'all like some lessons that I have learned. I know there are like people around my age that watches my channel, people in their 20s, people in their 30s, and usually I feel like that's around the age that most people make the decision to move away from home. So I figured this video would be very, very beneficial to anyone that's been thinking about like moving away from home. So I got married at 23, and obviously once I got married, I moved out of my mom's house, moved in with my husband, and there are several lessons you learn moving away from home, being out on your own. And I know my perspective will be a little bit different, but I still feel like the lessons can apply whether you move out on your own by yourself or whether you move out with a spouse. So the first lesson I feel like I learned about moving away from home is that life, y'all, is way more expensive than I thought it was. And I'm pretty sure if you're someone that has already moved away from home, you have figured this out. Now, I remember when I was like 18, y'all. No, not 18, I was 16. And I always used to tell my mom that I can't wait to be 18 to move out. Then when I turned 18, reality set in. I didn't move out, but still, I moved out at 23, which is still a very young age for sure. But back to what I was saying, the first lesson I feel like that I've learned from like moving out on my own is like life is just way more expensive than you thought. Like every single thing costs money, y'all. Like everything costs money, and it's something you're gonna have to like get used to, because remember, you got rent. If you have a car, you have car payment. But even when I like first moved out on my own, we didn't have a car payment. Like our cars were already like paid off or whatever. But there's always like some sort of unexpected like expenses, and you always have to be prepared for them. Like, that's the main thing that life teaches you. That's the main thing moving out on your own teaches you. Like, when you live with your parents is the one that kind of carries that overhead, carries that responsibilities. You know, if the light bulb goes out, they're the one that kind of buys it. If they need paper towels, they might be the one that buy it. Like, just little stuff, you know, if it runs out, they're the ones that buy it. When you move out on your own, that's on you and your spouse. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's definitely a whole different ball game. And again, it's definitely way more expensive than you think. You might think like, oh, it's just as simple as paying your cell phone bill and that's it. No, baby, it's not that simple. So I remember, like, especially because we live in New England, like, one of the shocking things for me, like, moving out was like the gas bill. Because remember, we got married in the summertime, so we moved in the summertime, so everything was cool, everything was sweet until the winter time hit and it's time to put the heat on. Now you got a gas bill that's about to come in. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's way more expensive than you think. Now, don't get it twisted, it's challenging. Moving out on your own is challenging, moving away from home, but it's also rewarding. And there's a lot of growing pains in the process. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a lot of growing pains in the process. So the second thing that I could say that I learned moving away from home is that freedom is very scary. Like, it's much more scarier than it seems. Like, yes, you're gonna be, you know, you free to do what you want and things like that. And I personally think, like, this is a reality that a lot of people, like, run into, and it can actually become overwhelming. Like, not having to report to anyone, not having anyone really hold you accountable, it could be a scary feeling. Like, dishes could pile up in the sink for days and you could end up with rats and roaches in your house. Like, because you think, oh, I'm on my own now, there's nobody to tell me to wash the dishes, I could wash them on my own time. Not really. You can't take too long to wash them dishes because the roaches gonna be, you know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like that's just a small example, but with freedom comes responsibility. And I feel like a lot of us learn this maybe like a year or two later after being on our own. You have to be responsible, right? Because again, your parents, depending on the relationship that you have with your parents, and most of the time, like, when you first move out, your attitude is like, I got this. You know what I'm trying to say? But you're gonna need your parents, baby. I promise. Like, at some point, you're gonna need your parents because situations arise that you don't know the answer to. You're not sure of how to get out of, and you're gonna need your parents' advice. So again, with freedom comes responsibility, and the less accountability you have, the more responsibility you're gonna have to take. Because remember, your parents, for a long time, they're on top of you. You know, did you do your homework? Did you wash the dishes? Did you take out the trash? Did you do this? Did you do that? But baby, when you move out, your mama is not gonna be asking you if you paid that bill, because she ain't gonna know the bill came in. She won't even know the due date of the bill. You get what I'm trying to say? So if you don't have someone to be accountable to, which I can say, like, I'm grateful that I moved out, like, being married, moved out with a significant other, because I felt like we could be accountable to each other. So it made it a little bit more easier to be responsible, and the responsibility is not as heavy because now it's on two people. You get what I'm trying to say? My husband could say, babe, you paid your cell phone bill. Babe, did you do this? Did you do that? You know, but if you moving out on your own, baby, like, it's different. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the second thing that I feel like that I learned from moving away from home. The second thing that I learned, like, moving out on my own, is that freedom it's uncomfortable. Like, it really is. And it's not everything that it's cracked up to be. Like, it's not. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely rewarding. Look, I say do it when you're ready. That's my biggest suggestion. Just do it when you're ready. Because another thing that can be bad, because I've experienced this a few times, but it has helped me to grow. Hold on, y'all. That freedom, if you don't learn to be responsible and be accountable, you can end up in some stuff that you're not supposed to end up in, especially financially. Like, that's the biggest one. Like, financially, baby, you could really end up in some stuff that you're not supposed to end up in, dealing with some issues that you're not supposed to deal with, because again, that freedom seems so great, so sweet. You go and take out a car payment or something that's more expensive than you can afford to pay for, and baby, when they get repossessed, it ain't funny. Baby, when you take a place that you can't afford to live at and you get evicted, it's not funny. When you have a credit card that you max out, thinking, oh, it's gonna be sweet. When I get my $10,000 bonus from my job, I'm gonna pay it off. And then you get laid off from that job and never get your bonus. And now the credit card goes to collections, and they're calling your phone left and right, ready to garnish your wages for your next job. It's not funny. Like, the freedom is scary. And I'm not saying this to talk nobody out of like moving away from home or anything. I'm just being real. Like, honestly, I'm really just being real. Like, so the third thing, and I love this thing, because I wrote these things out. These things I thought through, and I wrote them out. Moving away from home, you have to know your ability, and you gotta ask for help, y'all. I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. When you first move out, you like, I got this. It's cool. I'm gonna figure it out. And then you realize you need help. One thing my pastor told me when I was getting married, he told me, even after you get married, you are going to need your mom. And it's so true. Even if you're moving out with a significant other, don't burn bridges with your parents. If you're on bad terms with your parents, fix them, because I'm telling you, it might suck, but your parents, your mom, your dad, your parent will be able to tell you things that nobody else might be able to tell you. Like, one thing my mom helped me with for sure when I moved out was cooking, y'all, because I thought I knew how to cook. I thought I was ready when it came to cooking, but when it comes to knowing where to buy stuff, what's worth paying a price for, and all of that, I had to call my mama like several times. You know what I'm trying to say? So know your ability and ask for help, and know that it's okay to ask for help. When you first move out on your own, your pride and your ego could kind of get in the way. And we learned this, like, I don't want to tell fully what happened, but we learned this, like, I would say our first, like, 6 months of marriage, our first year in marriage, always ask for help, especially before it's too late. Try your hardest not to wait until the last minute to ask for help. If you're going through something, if you're dealing with something, talk to your parents, talk to a friend, talk to people that are closer to you, and try to seek out for that help before it gets out of control, before it gets so far where it becomes difficult for you to be helped, if you get what I'm trying to say. So, few additional things that I wrote down that's under that category. Like, first of all, knowing your ability. What I mean by knowing your ability, you learn how to budget. Like, you learn, okay, there's Kraft's cheese and there's the store brand cheese. My budget right now, my stomach want the Kraft cheese, but my budget right now only permits me to get the store brand cheese. I'm not always gonna have to get the store brand cheese, but for right now, let me get the store brand cheese. So you have to learn how to budget. Like, that's one of the biggest key things. If you could learn that, like, moving away from home, it will help you. And again, it's not an easy thing to learn. It's not, because learning how to budget comes with discipline. It's being able to tell yourself no, even when you feel like telling yourself yes. You know what I'm trying to say? There were times I was like in a position financially where I wanted to get designers and more expensive stuff. Now, because of certain situations that arrive, looking back, I'm like, I'm so happy I didn't waste my money on that designer, because rainy days are going to come, y'all. Challenging times are going to come, y'all. Difficult times are going to come. And you have to know how to discipline yourself, manage yourself financially to be able to handle those difficult and challenging times when they come. Don't be hard on yourself. It's not going to be easy, but it's something that can definitely get overwhelming. Another big thing that I learned moving away from home, under the umbrella of knowing your ability, is you have to maintain your health. Your health can get out of control like this. Remember, like for me, oh my God, my mom used to book all of my appointments, y'all. She used to book my doctor's appointment, my dentist appointment, all of that. When I moved out, I remember having to book like my own appointments, and it was so overwhelming. Like that, I would say, was one part that was very overwhelming, because now you're not there when she booking those appointments, so you don't know the hassle that she has to go through of providing your insurance number, picking a date, making sure your doctor is available that date. Like, it can be a hassle, you know? So maintaining your health is not easy. It's not. It's really and truly not. Depending on where you move to, if you have to get a gym membership, like to be able to go to the gym and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Not just that, even eating, y'all. Fast food is very tempting. There was a time fast food was like what was in our budget majority of the time. Because remember, fast food is usually cheaper in the moment than cooking and preparing food. So I remember there were times like I got out of shape. I was unhealthy. I gained weight. I just was out of shape because I wasn't eating as healthy. And remember, my mom is the one that always bought my food. Your parents is the one that always like provided your food majority of the time. So you don't really know how expensive it can be to go to the grocery store to buy food. You don't know the normal price to pay for certain foods. You get what I'm trying to say? It's a crazy feeling when you go to one supermarket and you pay $10 for meat, and then another supermarket is selling it for $5. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a whole different ballgame. So maintaining your health is another challenge that you can face. And I'm saying that like based on what you eat, because if you don't cook, if you don't know how to cook, like remember, I didn't fully learn how to cook, and that was my fault, my delay, not because my mom didn't teach me, but that was my fault, you know? So you not knowing how to cook and even know how to cook healthy meals, that can catch up on you with time as well. Another thing is maintaining a social life. When you first move out on your own, maintaining a social life can be challenging sometimes because you want to enjoy the comfort of your own home. So you can get caught up in like wanting to be alone, or if you're with your significant other, you can get caught up in wanting to be with them more often than usual. You know what I'm trying to say? But moving away from home, you still have to maintain a social life. and maintain a social life with the people back at home, with your parents, with your siblings. I remember that's something that was a challenge for me, like when I first moved out. Because remember, you're married now, you're in the honeymoon stage, you're trying to enjoy your marriage, and you got to remind your siblings that, hey, I didn't forget about you. You got to remind your friends, hey, I didn't forget about you. You get what I'm trying to say? So maintaining a social life can also be challenging. And then balancing work, school, and taking care of a home can also be challenging. Like, especially if you're a female. Females, we like, I don't know, naturally we're more cleaner than guys, if I may say. But regardless, like moving away from home now, you're responsible for cleaning up. Before, when I lived at home with my mom, the chores was split. Like my two siblings, me, my grandma, and my mama. So maintaining the house was on 5 people. When you move out on your own, depending on how many people that was in your house, maintaining the whole house, like to be clean and stuff like that, it's all on you. Now, it's not hard, but again, if you're not careful, you could become too comfortable and things can get out of control, if y'all get what I'm trying to say. So those are the first like 3 things I would say I definitely learned. And pretty much like overall, I would say like it basically teaches you how to prioritize. Like all in a nutshell, you have to learn how to prioritize. Prioritizing is one of the keys to moving away from home. Prioritizing is one of the keys to moving out on your own. Like you have to learn how to prioritize, and don't get it twisted. You are going to fail sometimes. You are going to make mistakes sometimes, but that's okay. Those mistakes is what helps you to grow. Those mistakes is what's going to help you to mature. So the other few things that I want to cover is like you'll learn to also be brave and to take risks when it comes to certain things. Like, because remember now, like I had times where I had to go through this phase where, okay, I can't keep calling my mom for everything. Certain things I did have to just learn, figure out on my own, try to trust my instinct, try to go with my gut feelings on these things, and not just continue to call my mom. Because sometimes too, if you're not careful, when you're always calling your parents or always relying on them, then in a way it's kind of their decisions. Now you're not really making your own choice. So if you call your mom, they'll be like, okay, black or white curtain. Dad, you don't gotta call your mom for black or white curtain. What do you want? You get what I'm trying to say? What do you think is gonna look good? What do you think is gonna look best? You get what I'm trying to say? So I feel like over time, because I don't feel like I call my mom as much as I call now. Like in the beginning, I did like calling her for a lot of things. And one of the biggest things I used to call on her for sure, is making sure that I'm not overpaying for something, because that was a mistake I did make a few times, where I would tell her, hey, I bought this from this store, and she'll be like, oh, how much you paid? I'm like, $10. And she'll be like, you could have gotten it for $3 somewhere else. I said, okay, now I know I could get it for $3 somewhere else. But now I've kind of, you know, stabilized a little bit, because it's been what, 5 years going on 6 years since I've moved away from home. But over time, you'll learn to trust your own instinct and to just, you know, take risks and learn from your mistakes. The 5th thing, like I said, which this part, y'all, that's why this part I'm about to talk about is coming at the perfect time, because I'm gonna be done eating and I could get a little bit more passionate. Y'all know I be passionate. When I'm passionate about something, like I start going with my hands and stuff. So yeah, this part, the challenge and the reward when it comes to moving away from home, I would say, one, because I experienced this a couple of times, and thinking about it, it makes me emotional, but you experience a sense of loneliness at times. And it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but there's not like a root cause of it. It's something that kind of just happens, but there are moments where you will experience like a sense of loneliness, and you'll kind of question yourself like, did I make the right choice? Should I go back to my mama's house and just throw my hands up with everything? And then you visit your mama's house and then you remember, I might be lonely for a minute, but but I ain't going back there. Especially if she's like telling me what to do. Nah, I'm just playing, y'all. But you do experience a sense of like loneliness sometimes, because, and even if you're with a significant other, and sometimes that loneliness, I feel like, comes from you questioning what you want, you debating about what you want, and you don't know how to express that. You're afraid to express it, if that makes sense. Or someone else might not be like emotionally available for you to express that with, so you just experience a sense of loneliness at times, and you kind of second guess yourself. But with time, like, I feel like it does go away, and it's just a part of like you moving away from home, because remember, like, everybody's not going to be available to be with you 24/7. People have their own lives, people have their own things to do, so you are going to have moments where you are by yourself and certain thoughts just come into your mind. The other one, I've experienced this a few times, not so much like recently, but I definitely experienced this in the beginning of like our marriage, of moving away from home. And this one is the fear of failure. And I personally believe like different people go through this, like most people go through this, where you just have a moment where so many things happen and you just wonder like, am I gonna fail? Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna have to go back to my mom's house for a year, 2 years, and then just attempt moving away from home at a different time in my life? Like, you're gonna experience those things, you know? And even if you do end up so-called failing or having to go back to where you came from, it's not a bad thing. It's not the end of the world. Every single thing happens for a reason. And you gotta remember, just because you made the decision to move away from home, it might not work out the way you think it's going to work out. It might not go the way that you think it's going to go. You get what I'm trying to say? We've experienced things where if you told me I was going to experience this, moving away from home, getting married at a young age, I would have told you, you crazy, you out of your mind. But things happen, and thankfully, none of us has ended up like having to move back with our parents and, you know, fail and just call it quits. But things definitely happen, and the fear of failure do run into your mind sometimes, especially in the beginning of you moving away from home, because again, like I said, certain things that are new to you, it can become overwhelming, like very overwhelming, because you're just like, wow, I didn't know adulting was this much work. I didn't know adulting was this much more responsibility. But in addition to all of that, I personally feel like it makes you appreciate your parents more. Like, I know it definitely developed an appreciation in my heart for my mom, because I was just like, damn, like she taking care of the bills, she making sure we eat, she making sure appointments are booked, she making sure she keeps a job, she making sure she has benefits so that we can have, you know, health insurance, all of this stuff. Like, you know, you develop an appreciation for that, because you're like, it's not as easy as it looks. You know, you just come home, you see the lights on, and you just think, oh, they're just there. No, baby, somebody pays that bill. Somebody is making sure that that bill does not get cut off. You know what I'm trying to say? I was having, like earlier, I was reminiscing on, hold on, I'm gonna tell y'all in 1 second. So y'all know I live in New England and it gets cold. And I was remembering, like, so it got cold in here, right? We had turned off the heat and stuff like that earlier. But then I was remembering, like, when I was growing up, we used to have the heat blasting in the winter time. Like, in my house, I was able to walk around with shorts 90% of the time because the heat always was on blast. But this was like what, 6-7 years ago, right? So things have changed, inflation has happened, like so much has happened. So now I'm just like, dang, I miss those times. Like I cherish those times when my mama used to allow us to just blast the heat so that we could be warm and comfortable. Because at my house, baby, it's a whole different ball game. Like, you know, we use oil where I live, and oil can be like expensive. Like it can add up really, really quickly. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's just a whole different ball game altogether. But I'm going to sum this video up by just sharing what I feel is like the most rewarding part of moving out on your own. Because there are a few things you learn that you develop over time the longer you do it. And sometimes it's not in the first year, sometimes it's not in the second year. I would say like the 3 to 5 years, because that's the most I could speak on, because we've only moved away from home for 5. It's only been 5 going on 6 years, so I can only speak on that time frame. In the longer term, I don't 100% know what is yet to come, so it's harder to speak on that. But I definitely say, like, you learn how to budget for sure. Like that's the rewarding part. You learn to have discipline. Like even when you want to tell yourself yes, sometimes you have to tell yourself no. You also learn to be responsible, because remember, the less accountability, the more responsible you have to be. You know, you don't have anybody holding you accountable to come home at 12 o'clock midnight, right? But if you come home at 3 o'clock in the morning and you got work at 6 o'clock, that's not gonna work. You have to be responsible and tell yourself, I got work at 6 o'clock, ain't no way I'm coming up in this house. Sorry y'all, my camera cut off, but you gotta be able to tell yourself, ain't no way I'm coming up in this house at 3 o'clock and I gotta go to work at 6 o'clock. You have to be responsible and say, okay, 12 o'clock, I'm coming in the house, fall asleep by 12:30, 5.5 hours of sleep is enough for me to thrive and survive, to have a decent day at work. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's the other thing it teaches you. You also learn your abilities. You learn, okay, this is what I'm capable of doing. This is not what I'm capable of doing. For some people, which I've come to absolutely love, some people, like, even if I say, let me say people in their 30s, because I've been seeing this, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm in on this too. You come to a place, like when you first move out on your own, you kind of think, okay, dishes, right? Let me wash these dishes every night or whatever. After a while, you're just like, I'm gonna paper plate it out. Because it's just like, it is what it is. Like maybe depending on your line of work, and I'm not saying you're gonna paper plate it every single night, but if you work in 60-70 hours a week to keep up and to make money, you ain't gonna have the energy and the time to be trying to wash dishes all the time. You get what I'm trying to say? Or you might find a place that's more expensive, a little bit more expensive, that comes with a dishwasher. That way you don't have to wash dishes all the time. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's what I mean by you kind of learn your abilities, you learn what you're capable of, and you learn what you're not so much capable of. You accept it, and you find means to accommodate you based on your abilities and your capabilities. And then, last but not least, I definitely feels like it helps you to mature. Okay, this part might take a little bit of time, but depending on how much you enjoy moving away from home, being on your own, having your own space and things like that, maturity is key. And give me 1 second. Cheers to maturity. I gotta drink some juice. Maturity is key. You can come from a place of like thinking, okay, I'm gonna sleep all day, shoot the breeze, ain't gotta work too much. You know, I'm gonna probably work 20 hours a week and that's it. And then you realize, that ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm trying to say? And you go from working 20 hours a week to working 40, 50 hours a week, because you know, in order to maintain the lifestyle that you want, you have to work harder. You can't just be chilling, sleeping all day, kicking it with your friends, kikiing on the phone. Like, you can't do that depending on the lifestyle that you are trying to maintain. So I feel like maturity is a huge rewarding factor that comes with it. You will watch yourself grow and just develop and not be irresponsible in a sense, like I'm saying. Like, you will probably, maybe your first time your first year of you being out on your own, you know, you might think, okay, I'ma stay up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning and still get up and go to work at 6, hungover, tired, worn out, beaten up, and can't do the people's job right. But after the first year, right, and you might end up getting fired from that job because the people only going to tolerate that for so long. But after the first year, you'll realize, you know what? I'm gonna have a lot of time to party. I'm gonna have a lot of time to enjoy myself and hang out with my friends. So I don't have to milk the time that I have and stay out till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, knowing I have to get up for work at 6 o'clock. That's maturity, is realizing that, you know what, if I want to maintain this freedom, I have to handle it responsibly. If I want to maintain this moving away from home lifestyle and having my own space and cleaning up when I want to and handling things on my own time, on my own terms, it's going to come with a level of maturity, and it comes with a level of responsibility. So that is pretty much all I have for you guys. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. If you are someone that have moved out on your own, comment below like a few things that you would say that you can take away. That you have taken away, that you can share with someone, that you can teach someone else. And like I said, this video is not to discourage anybody. It's not to encourage anybody either, because you know, it could go both ways, but it's to just let people know the reality of moving away from home. Like, moving away from home, it comes with a lot, depending on when you do it, what age you do it, where you are in your life where you do it, where you are financially, where you are even just as a person, like where you are in your life at the time that you move away from home is very, very important. It's very, very crucial. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Again, don't forget to leave a comment down below if you are a new person that this is your first time watching this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below so that you can enjoy more amazing content. It would truly mean a lot to me. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video where I inspire your desire to be great, to be great, to be great. Bye. Do not rush to move away from home, okay? Take your time so that you never, ever gotta move back at home, okay? Period. Bye, y'all.